We do want to bring in national security and foreign policy analyst Ari Aramesh. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be with you.
Let's start with that additional unprovoked attack that Kelly Meyer was just talking to us about on U.S. forces. 20 attacks in the last week and a half now. In your eyes, is the U.S. response strong enough?
The U.S. response was necessary. I'm not sure if it was a little too late and too little, but it was certainly something to make sure that the Ayatollah in Tehran, that's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the commander-in-chief of all Iranian armed forces and the supreme leader of Iran, and also the leaders of the IRGC, that's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Those are the guys who pretty much control not just big chunks of Iran's economy, but also its security and coercive apparatus and much of its foreign military operations. So we should put them on notice. And I think this attack, after President Biden directly warned Ayatollah Khamenei that the U.S. will, in fact, retaliate for all these attacks against U.S. personnel, U.S. Infrastructure and contractors in Iraq and Syria, that there will be consequences. Now, there were two F-16s that flew over an Iranian base or Iranian sort of funded, supported, and built base called over Connell. That's on the eastern Syrian, sort of western Iraqi side. That's very close to the Syrian-Iraqi border. But it seems that it has not yet, as of now, deterred the Islamic Republic of Iran from carrying out more attacks. There was just another one that happened. Now, I want to go back to about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm going back to the winter of 2019 and January of 2020. At the time, Iranian-funded proxies in Iraq carried out a number of attacks against U.S. forces. And there were warnings back and forth. The Trump administration warned them a few times until one of these attacks actually took the life of U.S. service members, U.S. contractors. And then there were attacks against the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. It was at that time, in the early days of January 2020, that the former president ordered the targeted killing of General Qasem Soleimani, by far the most powerful military figure in Iran, and also perhaps its most important foreign policy character, calling the shots in the Middle East. So a ISR drone, a Predator drone, flew over Baghdad airport, took him out, took Abu Mahdi Mohandes, the leader of a lot of these Iraqi Shiite proxy groups, out along with their bodyguards and a couple dozen other people. An Iranian regime with a bloody nose tends to back down and buckle down. When they think that the U.S. is unwilling or it doesn't have the political will or is just uninterested in responding or protecting its personnel and assets.
So, Ari, I don't mean to interrupt, but can I ask you, do you believe that a similar tact is necessary here? Do you believe that more targeted strikes against specific leaders and heads within Iran is what is needed?
I think there have been at least 24 attacks in the past 10 days. This is up to the National Security Council, the president's national security team, the Defense Department, Secretary of State, and a whole host of intelligence and military advisors the president has. He gets daily classified briefings. I'm not privy to those, but if you want to analyze what's going on and sort of analyze the behavior, the 44-year behavior of the Islamic Republic of Iran, when they see weakness, they take advantage. And when, again, this government is the motherlode of bad ideas and motherlode of terrorism. They support everybody from Hamas to Hezbollah, to Hamas to Islamic Jihad in Palestine, Hezbollah in Lebanon, a whole host of groups in Iraq. They pretty much single-handedly, with the help of the Russians, kept Bashar al-Assad in power. They are the largest foreign supplier of weapons now to the Russian Federation in its fight against Ukraine. They have their hands pretty much in every trouble hole in the region, from Kabul to Beirut and from Sana'a to Baghdad. So you see where I'm going with this. They have been a main obstacle for peace, stability, and prosperity in the region. Because they propagate an idea, a sort of a radical Islamist, but most terribly revolutionary ideology that at its very core, it's destabilizing. So if these attacks
Ari, I hear you. I'm so sorry. We are very low on time. It is a complex issue, and I appreciate the context that you brought to the table today. Ari Aramesh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.